Daddy Mac. Dance 30 years got our way, trading life and markets every day. Rusty's chained to the mines, digging deep day by day. But when Option Omega releases new features, he's free to come out and play. Option Omega, you're trading home, where every move makes you feel less alone.
He's back. Troy, you're back. We missed you yesterday.
I watched it. Listen, the show's much better without me.
Hard disagree.
You guys were doing awesome. Yeah, I had some personal business to attend to, but we're back. And listen, huge week. Friday, all those Vol guys said, "Hey, the good times are back here again."
Liberation Day Part 2, baby.
And Monday said, "Hold my beer," or whatever it wants to say, whatever it says.
VIX 30, it might take a while.
VIX 30 is going to be rough. So, but here's the thing. I've got enough data points in my life from this to where I see it and I look, there's a lot of days pre-Liberation Day where we gapped down 50 to 100 and just rallied immediately off that. That's actually the worst days in my mind, is when you're down 80 and then we close for the unched for the day or up for the day or something like that.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that. Shout out to the community. Shout out to the chat here. Which, if you didn't know, we had a question about this yesterday. We have a chat. And
I don't understand. So here's the I will look into it. I saw this last night. I will look into this.
No, there's nothing. I don't think there's.
We have almost zero control over the chat.
Here's the whole discussion. There's two things. Number one, people have been watching this show. They're like, "Where's the chat?" The chat is in YouTube. Okay, this is broadcast on multiple platforms, but for all intents and purposes, the chat is in YouTube. So that's where the chat is. Troy's bringing the chat live. If you
only
want
to do chats that include my name.
Okay. If you want to be featured on the show, include his name. Top set the standard. Top warrants, you set the standard in many things. Yep. People saying many things.
Yep.
So number one, the chat's on YouTube. And number two, we have no control over when the chat posts. It takes about a day sometimes for the chat to load in. So in case you didn't know, and this is where just a brief PSA, in case you didn't know, all of the episodes of the OO show post to YouTube. They post pretty soon after the show, but it takes about a day for the chat to load in. And here's where the shout out comes. Shout out to the chat, because we have people that have been like, man, I'm trying to go back through the old OO shows and I don't know what any of them are about. This is a legitimate point. So we are actually in the process of going back and updating and chapterizing the descriptions for every OO show. And you think, Matt, that's not that many shows. It's over 100 shows. There's hundreds of shows. So we are in the process of going back. If you start looking, you'll see them updated. They've got descriptions. They're chapterized. You can peruse them, find backtests that are more to your, that we discussed that are maybe more in your lane. You can avoid ones that are less in your lane. You can find the topics that we're talking about. And here's where this ties into what you're talking about. I've been going back and doing the ones during Liberation Day. And oh my goodness, Troy, how many days were there that you just described where we would have a move that was 50, 60, 80, 100 points pre-market, and then it would be unchanged or we'd close up. I mean, Friday, I just put on my mechanical trades like normal, and I looked and saw that futures were up, and I wasn't hawking them yesterday, but I was checking in on them occasionally. And I think all of them are probably well above the deltas on my horizontal or on my time spreads. They're probably well above the deltas because we had this huge move on Thursday and Friday. And then what did we have yesterday? Another huge move in the opposite direction. Yeah. So are we back? Is the market back?
I think
are the bulls loose?
This is I feel so stupid. Now I'll explain why here in a second. There's a couple different reasons. But yesterday morning, so I looked at the pre-market, and I've shown you guys market profile charts.
Yeah. You haven't done that in a while.
I should again. I like
to bring it back. Something I missed from the old shows. I missed the market profile, and I also missed the Dan rundown. Dan would always come in hot with, here's futures, here's the VIX, here's what we did yesterday, here's the expected move. I would love to see that. But chat, if you guys want to see more market profile, you want to see the rundown, drop it in the chat. Maybe Troy will put it on the screen if you use his name.
Yeah. It ran into it was taking up precious crap talking time. And that was I want to get back to just talking about how soccer sucks and things like that. And so
you can't talk about LeBron in August. What is there to talk about?
No, exactly. So maybe we go back to that until NBA starts. But
LeBron and the Saudis, that could be a good one.
That's right. Someone at church came up to me the other day and said, "Have you seen all these pictures of LeBron pregnant?" And I said, "Bro, you got to get off the internet. Like
too much internet for you. This is
too much internet for you." Anyway, so looking at market profile, there's just rare times where like, okay, we're up 30, I think, futures Sunday night. 30 from Sunday, Monday, 30. Okay. This is what it shoulda, coulda. I get that. I almost, if you were just handing me $100, you're like, where are we going to end up at the end of the day? I could have shown you within a 5-point range where we're going to end up. It doesn't happen every day. But like,
Troy, you could have sent me that DM.
And I should have bought calls at that level because it worked. It would have worked out within the first 30 minutes because we just rallied. But
yeah,
I was busy, and I'll tell you why. Matt and I were talking about this, going back and forth. Like, Troy, do you want to talk about your luxury? Do you not want to talk about your luxury? My truck died this weekend.
Your what?
My truck died this weekend.
Oh, your truck? Okay.
The F-150.
Oh, it did?
I don't have anything to pour out. Listen, I'm going to pour out my empty
Shoutout. He had a good run. Listen.
Oh, I love that one.
I don't care what you think. That guy right there, that guy gave me his heart and soul.
Yes. Troy, how many miles did that have on it?
Oh, you're talking about that guy? That guy went 240,000 miles for me.
Oof.
Now,
that is a long life. Is that diesel, Troy?
That's a gas tank, Matt.
Ooh.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
Is it officially dead? I mean, what made you close the?
You can start it, and it will immediately overheat.
Okay.
And I opened the hood up, and it's squirting stuff everywhere. So at 240,000 miles, you say, we're not going to put a lot of money into it. Now, am I betraying it? Yeah. I'm going to put it in another part of the yard. That's in East Tennessee. You get land so that you can just park dead vehicles.
You don't have to get rid of them ever.
That vehicle is not going anywhere. That vehicle is just going on the property somewhere.
There's loyalty. We have
acreage. Oh, it's a graveyard. We have acreage. And so, but anyway, that is gone now. And I had to decide what to do. And I will reveal that another time, but I will give you a hint, Dan.
He's getting a crotch rocket.
Oh, you're talking about.
Here we go.
I want to show you the motorcycle.
I got him going. We got him going.
I bought a car that I never thought I'd buy. I'm going to let the chat fill it out real quick. I'll give you guys some hints as we're going, okay? It's a car that depending on what side of the aisle in, it's the only car where people suddenly care about like social stuff.
Oh, that's a pretty big hint.
That's a pretty big hint, and I basically just gave it away. Yes, yeah. I'm talking about the Chrysler LeBaron. No, I'm not talking about Chrysler LeBaron. So I went.
Post it, chat, if you think you know.
Post it, chat. I test drove a bunch of cars. I went to multiple dealerships. I'm getting text messages this morning from car salesmen from the weekend saying they hope I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Let me know if there's anything.
They're
I can
checking
do.
it. They're concerned about your well-being.
They're
Can you
caring
bring up
for
a
me.
picture of a Chrysler
checking in.
LeBaron? What do they look like? Are they?
Are we doing
Chrysler-
brand and model, by the way, for this?
Brand and model would be great. Brand and model.
It hasn't been. I see a comment. The model has not been named.
But maybe brand and model question right after the latest comment might give it away a little bit.
Yeah.
But so here's the thing. I test drove a bunch of stuff. And then, Dan, I went to a dealership and I said, I want to test drive a car. And they said, yes, we do have a VW Rabbit. Shout out Glenn for the VW Rabbit reference.
VW Rabbit. Wow.
My first boss, my boss growing up, his first car, he would loved it, was a VW Rabbit diesel. And he had quite the stories of it. But anyway, so
sorry, quick,
please.
not a car guy.
Yeah, you are, but go ahead.
I'm the least car person you'll ever meet. VW has, remember those buses they came out with, like the minibus or whatever? They have an electric version of it.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, probably not real practical for the kind of life I lead. Not a surfer, a couple 100 miles from the beach, couple 1,000 miles from a beach with waves. It's like $75,000 for the base model. 75,000. What?
Yeah.
We're gonna we're gonna take 3 or 4 minutes today, and we're just gonna talk about cars. Because listen, not only are we traders, but you have to do something with those winnings or losings, and you have to live your life.
Or those losings.
Yeah. And I will say this. I grew up in the world of Dave Ramsey. For those people who are international, I don't know.
Shout out to Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to Ramsey Solutions.
Shout out to Ramsey Solutions in Franklin.
They won't endorse this show for sure.
They will not endorse this show ever. So I grew up in the world where you say, I'm going to buy the cheapest, best car you can.
Yes.
Right? As a general principle. And so up until 2020, I had never bought a car that was anywhere close to above $20,000. Like my whole life. Like
Ramsey principle.
Yeah, like because I would have quite often when I was younger, like $500 in my account. Yeah. I've bought cars for $500, and so but what has happened in inflation, I've noticed, is if you go look at cars, me and Matt were talking about this yesterday. If you want to find a used car with under 50,000 miles that is within 5 to 10 years old, you are only paying like $5,000 to $10,000 less than a brand new car at this point. Like that gap has almost complete. It's like a yield curve inversion in my mind. Like the used cars are almost as expensive as the new cars. And so shout out Matt showing me the first car he ever bought.
If you want to post it, you can.
Matt, you'll have to do that, I think. I don't know.
Yeah. If anybody wants to see a late
post.
80s or late 90s Plymouth Voyager that I bought for $300.
Post
wow, $300.
Oh, we got a Ramsey coach FPU in the chat.
Yeah.
So we can go deep on Dave Ramsey. We're actually big fans, but
for sure.
Don't call in and tell him you do options.
No. So anyway, so the line between new and used is getting smaller and smaller.
Wow.
Like it's very difficult to find a good car that is not very expensive. And so I go testing things out. I go looking at all these things. My wife is a fan of, my wife loves the idea of camping. Shout out my wife, more than maybe camping itself.
Glamping?
But so we look into that life. Like we say, well, I got the F-150. Maybe we should look into Toyota 4Runners. Maybe we should look into things like that. Toyota 4Runners are so expensive.
They're very expensive.
It's insane.
Here's a point, Troy. Everything's expensive.
Yes.
And the used, the fall off, there used to be a truism, and shout out to the Ramsey coach. I also taught FPU. there was a truism where you could buy a slightly used car that was a couple years old and get a big discount.
Oh
And
yeah.
those days you can still buy beaters, although I would argue even those are harder to find. But those days of I'm going to buy something that's 2 years old and has 20,000 miles on it and get 40% off or 30% off or 20% off. In those days they seem to be dwindling, at least in our neck of the woods.
So you want it. So really the deal you're saying is it is good if you got a 5-8-year-old car, it's not that big a difference. You know, I mean, get a new one.
You can sell it for a premium at this point.
Are you saying the yield curve has flattened?
The yield curve is flattened, is what I'm saying. And so
that's Troy's. By the way, he told me that yesterday. I thought it was a good line. The yield curve has flattened in the car market.
I have repeated, like that Dodge you just showed, the Ford Thunderbird. I think I bought a Ford. It wasn't Thunderbird. Something. My first car was a Pontiac Bonneville, like 500.
I love those. Those are nice, big car.
Oh, they're awesome.
Big car.
I went to do it, Matt. I went to.
Let me see if I can do this, guys.
That car I paid $500 for would cost $4,000 now.
Oh my!
So Matt, that's an $11,000 van.
Is it really?
Like, I'm just saying, you go to Facebook Marketplace, you're not getting that van for $300.
Here's the full story. The chat won't care about it except the Ramsey guy. I had a car maintenance envelope. This is true, mid 2000s, and this is a Plymouth Voyager. It had one hubcap. I actually named the car.
What'd you name it, Matt?
Kang. That's a separate story why I called it Kang. I paid for this with the money that was in my car maintenance envelope. So there it is. That was the first car I ever bought.
Shout out Dave Ramsey.
Wow.
Shout out to Dave.
Wow.
So here's the thing. I go test driving cars all day. The cars that you think you should. I looked at Toyota Priuses. That was actually the one I was waking up Saturday morning saying, I'm probably going to get a Prius. We drive a lot. I've drove 130,000 miles in the last 5 years.
Wow.
And I haven't taken a lot of road trips. Like that's just Knoxville living. So I drive a lot at night. As people know, I like to cry at night. I like to listen to podcasts, Bridge Over Troubled Water, a lot of Homeward Bound, a lot of Paul Simon. You
cannot do any better than that.
No, you can't. And so I'm very conscious at this point that I don't want a gas guzzler. That's the thing I knew.
Okay.
You don't want gas guzzler. Okay.
So I test drive a bunch of stuff. Used, new, just showing you where like family of wife, 4 kids.
And you're trying to get a deal.
Yes.
Because
I'm trying to find a deal. Shout out Dave Ramsey. I'm trying to find a deal.
Yes.
There are no deals to be had. At least at this weekend, at this point in history in Knoxville, Tennessee, there were no deals to be had. But what I did find, I went test driving a bunch of stuff. And then I went to this dealership and I said, I want to test drive a car. And I got in the car and they said, okay, you've got 30 minutes. It's going to drive you to Best Buy. And
wait, it's going to drive you, the person driving the car from the dealership?
I said, well, get in. They said, no. It's going to drive you to Best Buy.
You just gave a big clue to the chat.
And the car, Dan, drove my son and I to Best Buy.
Wait, a self car? Wait. What are we talking here?
Dan.
The future, apparently. Troy's living in the future.
Dan.
How exactly? This one's going to be confusing.
This is going to be.
I give you the Model Y, the Tesla Model. Yes, parked in the grass in the very front of my house, showing that I'm still East Tennessee.
Wow.
The car just drives itself. You just tell it where to go and it just drives you.
Oh my goodness.
I know there's probably thousands of people that have these things and are very used to this. But to me, I've never had anything drive me.
Wait, so when you sat in the back, where'd you sit?
No, you sit in the driver's seat, and you just kind of just sit there, and it just.
I would be unnerved. I would be totally unnerved. I don't know if I could do that. Just trust this.
Yeah, it's
Did
quite
it do
the
well?
experience. Yeah,
so it took you there.
I'll come by. We'll come by. We'll drive around.
That is awesome. Yeah, we'll have to.
The chat is giving you major props.
Shout out. Here's the thing. So 2 things real quick. Shout out, and then we should probably look at some tests. Shout out, Kirk from Speaking Greek's fame.
Shout out to Kirk. I don't know if he's watching.
I don't know if he watches sometimes. But Kirk from Speaking Greeks has a Tesla and walked me through it, answered 4,000 questions I had about it, and went from there. 2, the crazy thing, like, I'm just going to say this about Tesla because Matt and I were talking about this. Like, people are going to think you're like luxurious. The Tesla costs less than a Ranger.
You got a deal.
The Tesla costs less. The Tesla costs as much as a Prius cost.
That's insane.
Really?
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. So like you're like, I'm gonna get a Toyota Prius, and then you're like, oh, or I could get a Tesla for the same price. Like, it's a crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah. So shout out Kirk. Shout out the yield curve inversion between used cars and new cars. Don't shout that out. I would have loved to pay $5,000 for a car with 80,000 miles. I would have loved to do that.
Yeah.
Well, we had Alex from the chat pointed out that, you know, the government did all those cash for clunkers programs, and those cars have a long half-life, a long shelf life, a long drive life. And they cleaned a lot of those off the road in one swoop or many swoops. Somebody else asked, did you have to wire your house for that? And I'm curious as well.
Well, so you can, but that was one thing I was nervous about. You don't have to. Now,
it just plugs into the wall?
It just plugs into the wall. It's very, very slow. But for what I'm doing in the particulars of my travel schedule, there are some Tesla superchargers like 90 seconds from my house.
Oh,
wow.
Really? Okay.
And so if I need to top off, I'll top off, but otherwise just plug it in. And so I would love a diesel VW wagon. Here's the crazy thing. Anyway, last thing. This car talk for the day. I think the chat gets this.
Sometimes the chat's really into this discussion.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I have buddies who are like the 1995 Ford F-150 buddies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys have some of those things. So it's like you have those people. They're like, we got to get a 95 or F-150.
They know the engine years
they know the engine,
to buy. They know the engineers not to buy, etc.
Shout out my grandpa. We had a 95 F-150. Drove that. Great truck. The way these things work is they're like, what do you think? I was like, well, I think Toyota Land Cruisers are awesome. So all my buddies who are like car guys, they're like, oh, I'm going to get you on a Land Cruiser. Oh, here's a great one. They send me a link. A 1979 Toyota Land Cruiser in pristine condition for $45,000.
Oh my goodness.
And you're like, what are you guys talking? Are you?
Yeah, that was more than you bought a new car for.
Yeah. Are you out of your mind?
Yeah.
So anyway, Glenn, great question. Ending the talk on the thing of Matt and I decided.
You should tell them.
Basically, I'm only going to trade Tesla stock from here.
No. Well, that's not what we talked about.
No, what we talked about is we're going to do Tesla week. So we're going to figure out, we're going to look at Tesla options.
Because Tesla's in the OO backtester. Tesla is the meme stock, and it's got great volume.
Well, that's right.
I've got a Tesla automated trade.
You got nice volatility.
Listen, send us your Tesla backtests if you want them on the show. Okay, if you want them on the show. And if you want to send us an idea and change it a little bit so it's not the exact same thing, listen, that's an easy way to do it. But we're going to try to do in the future Tesla week, I think, because we live in SPX land. Listen, okay. We sometimes go to vacation in QQQville, but we live in SPX land. But there is more than that. We understand. So,
and you know what? They got, I'm looking at a 24-day option at the money. You got like 50 implied volatility. And nice. I mean, a $310 stock with 50 volatility, you can work with that.
Yeah,
and
you can do something with that. Yeah.
Great liquidity. Hey, one quick question, not meaning to go from the car thing. You had mentioned the Matt was talking at the beginning about how you're updating all the shows and putting all that together.
Yes.
Do you have when you're updating it, will there be links to the back test for each?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes.
For the shows on those.
It's
the newer ones. The
sometimes.
newer ones, yes.
Okay.
The older ones, no.
Okay. The newer ones. Okay. I got you.
Yeah. Because some shows, what we didn't actually save it. We just were looking at stuff. And so there's just no way to replicate that. And to be honest, I'm not going to go back through it.
Sure. Troy, one more question. You had mentioned Sunday night, you knew.
Yeah.
We were was that based on market profile or what were you?
Market profile and basic. I mean, this is what I'll do actually. Let's just do this. Let's start with that. We should talk about markets for a second instead of Teslas. Yeah. So can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay. So forget the lowercase letters. That's futures, basically. The uppercase letters this was yesterday.
Yeah.
And this was Friday.
This is futures. Oh yeah, futures.
Yeah.
Right.
So Friday we go all the way down 62.37. We futures we kind of go up. We're up here, and we start that A period and it just rises. Okay. Where did we end up yesterday? We ended up at the bottom of Thursday's range. Now, why is that an important number? Well, if you think about what the market's trying to do, the market, in order for the market to go up, it has to get into a range, right? It has to. So if we're in Thursday's range and we dropped way below that, the first step to a rally is to get back to that range. So where did we end? We ended right, literally almost to the tick of the bottom of Thursday's range. So what do I look for today? Well, it's a little less clear now because I don't know what I'm going to do. But what I would look for is for it to at least go to further up into Thursday's range, which would take us, that's 80, 90 points, 80, 90 point range. So I would at least look us to take us into here, 63.86, the value area of Thursday. I would look here. Is it maybe a strong rally? I mean, that'd be another 60-point rally. That would definitely be, in my mind, an area where we're probably not going to get past that normally, which is all that means is we spent the majority of time there Thursday at 64.25. So
is that saying, like, Troy, like the high Thursday in the futures was, if I'm right here, 64.68. Was there not enough volume there? Is that why you didn't mention that in your numbers?
The futures?
Yeah.
Of yesterday?
Thursday.
Yeah.
Weren't you talking Thursday?
Yeah, this is Thursday during the day. And so this is Thursday night futures.
Oh, I get okay.
And so Thursday night we started dipping down, and then Friday, we really
after the market was okay.
Yeah, so this is after market close.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, that level right there is the thing I was talking about. It's like when we were down here, even when we're down here and you're saying, I want to take a long, what you do is you just look and say, like, okay, well, what's the most immediate range? What would it need to do to go up? And I've just seen this enough to know the market, you can argue it's a random walk, but also there's levels to this in the sense that people are looking at this. That's all it is. That's what any indicator is. It's like, it's just people are looking at it. And so it becomes powerful because everybody's looking at it. That's the kind of way I look at it. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's do this real quick. Matt, go ahead.
I got nothing.
Oh, okay. I thought you were.
I'm excited to see a back test.
Here's a back test, Matt.
That's a back test. So it's a two. So here's what's interesting. It's a 2DTE. It's a 2DT. Not a lot of 2DTE on the show. Shout out to 2DTEs. I actually used to trade some 2DTEs put spreads. Actually, I kind of like it. I hate this backtest though.
Tell me why you hate it, man.
Well, it's got 60 data. Well, here's the thing. I hate this backtest for me. It has 60 data points, and it's also really wide. Now it is a 50 delta, so you're basically, at the money, or a strike away. Which, by the way, side note, 50 delta is not exactly at the money all the time. I think everybody knows that, but you're basically at the money. Your winner, it's won most of the time, but we're at all-time highs, and so you have to win most of the time because your average loser is twice your average winner. So I just don't like the 60 trades. How does this do since dailies or since the beginning of the years? Is that a valid
don't even have to go to dailies. So here's the thing: good origami man, which I'm pretty sure is Mr. Kirk. I'm pretty sure. Shout out, not if it's not Kirk, but that's my guess. He rightly
he hates it for the same reason I hate it, and so does the FPU coach. Shout out.
So this is
Ramsey.
This is what happens. So I show this just to the last couple of weeks we've been looking at bad tests along with some good tests. What happens? We've noticed a lot because we get a lot of feedback. Is people pick dates. A lot of times people pick random dates. They don't do SPX dailies. They don't go back. They just pick random dates. Well, this is run back, I think, 90 days. All right. And so let's say you're new to trading and you've been told just sell puts. And you go back and you say, all right, I'm going to start selling put spreads. I wonder what the last 90 days.
This person's not watching the OO show, whoever told
Well, the other part is people are always, you could get me onto some philosophical stuff here really fast with this, and maybe we will. People are drawn to the new more than the old. Well, that's the last thing you want to do in backtesting. You want to go back as far as you can. Reach back.
And you missed on a bullish directional trade. You missed April.
That's right. It just so happens that you missed April.
Yeah.
And so, but that's what happens. A lot of people don't realize that stuff. They're new to trading. They get in. They're like, I'm going to sell put spread. Last 90 days is killing it. You told me an MAR is of 2 is great. So like, I'm going to be like a rock star. Well, let's go back.
Yeah.
And let's just do this year to date.
I would argue dailies, but yeah, I think you're probably making a point.
You don't
even need. Right.
Let's share this version. Also, it doesn't have enough stop loss slippage.
Yeah.
So I call this trade like just sell the put spread, dude. Like don't overthink it, man. It's those with courage that get Lambos, dude.
Now, just a quick technical thing. I mean, I think there's a name for this in England that's got like it's taking the pee. Isn't that what they call it? When
taking the pee out of you.
Taking the pee. Somebody from England confirm if it's viewer discretion is advised for the show if the phrase is correct. But just it doesn't have enough. In my first reaction is I would use more slippage on this, and I usually use 35 cents stop loss slippage. And the other thing is it does have intermittent stop loss. That's only on the final day. So your first 2 days are going to be just checking at the top of the minute and then the intermittent stop loss. Now, not that matters in this case because nobody's going to look at this and get excited. Now, I don't know, Troy, are you throwing this out there as a challenge? Are you going to try to 5 this since dailies? Or,
anybody is welcome.
Because here's what this doesn't have. It has, here's what this is doing on the entry condition setup. It has no filters. So there is probably the opportunity to do something with this and do something with it to where it's not, it doesn't look like a massacre, which it does now.
I think,
challenge to the.
And the other thing, do you ever put like on these, like I was thinking about it on put spreads, credit spreads. I like, like when you're doing and I know I don't mean to get into like adjustments or rails. I know Troy was just trying to, it was a great point that, yeah, you just take the last 3 months. It's like, dude, this is all I need. But, when you look at like double calendars, okay, it gets through the short strikes and you have these delta rails, right? Where the buses, things are getting out of whack. I like to look at put credit spreads or something like that. I'm looking at the delta. You do a lot of the folk in here do like rails with the short put. So I might look at that and say, well, when that short put, short delta, whatever. I mean, obviously this is an at the money 50 wide. My first thought would be try to go less wide. But again, you have something that maybe you're bringing in, I don't know, $11 to risk 4,000 or whatever.
Yeah, the average winner's 1,600.
Yeah.
So you're 1 to 2 kind of.
Yeah. So would you do something like with the delta of the short put when the delta of the short put hits 70 or whatever the number is to like for a rail on that? I mean, I look, when I've looked at iron condors historically, let's say if I was doing a 15 delta or 20 delta iron condor, I would look when the delta of the short strike increased by 10, right? I would look for maybe an adjustment. If you wanted to do a no touch, no adjustment, maybe when the delta of that iron condor went from 10 to 30, by then you're starting to, get in trouble. But do you see people with put credit spreads ever putting a rail with the delta? Do you see that much in the
I don't see it much, but I think that's because most put credit spreads are 0 DTE that we see. But if you're doing
zero, you're right.
Yeah.
Right.
If you're doing a longer term, and we have one friend of OO who's into longer term put credit spreads. I don't think he uses delta because he sets them up.
Is this considered longer term too?
No, this is not. I'm talking like
this is like 401k. This is retirement account stuff for sure. Yeah.
But the chat, the chat just threw out a 60 DTE idea. Like that, 60 DTE, I would consider longer DTE. I mean, again, longer DTE is not a technical term. It's subjective, but I think most people will consider 30, 60 DTE longer. And here's the thing. There's gold in those hills. If somebody, is willing to spend some time with a mine and a pickaxe and shovel them out, because, in the last however many years, JSP as a concept has worked pretty well, and the market has gone up over time. And even we've shown plenty of backtests on this show that now they're mostly 0 DT, but even in bearish environments, JSPs have done well. So I just think the 2 DT thing is interesting, just because it harkens me back to 2022 when I had a 2 DTE that I did many times.
3 final thoughts from me, at least. One, I share this to say basically, it's funny what we've realized. Matt and I were talking about this weekend, and I love this. The best shows that I've ever watched have this aspect to it, that I'm just going to acknowledge it now. I can say we've done over 100 shows. I feel confident in saying shout out chat, because what we've seen is people take tests and just blindly trade them without looking at stuff.
Even we tell you not to do this.
We say
we are not copy traders.
Take a test named "Don't do this" and be like, "Hey, this test didn't work," when they trade it. So shout out chat. It's just a bunch of degenerates, and we love you for it.
Don't do this.
We love you for it. But
the same thing we said last time. If you want a copy trade, go find one of a billion copy trade services that aren't OO.
Yeah.
People come here for the NBA takes, I think, mostly, Troy.
Yeah. And shout out Rob, who just acknowledges it. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So shout out Rob. I think so that's one. That's the big idea of it, is to say, what's the big takeaway today? Improving this. How do you improve this test? Don't randomly just pick short-term dates that have less than 100
Right.
trades. That's the first filter.
Yeah.
Get over 100 trades. That's first filter. Final two things. Dan just dropping wisdom as he does. Shout out Dan Sheridan, who Sheridan risk management. The last two words in that are really important to Dan. Risk management. So you hear him, he sees a test, and what does someone who's been in the game a long time do? He says, how do you get out of this without losing everything?
Yeah.
That's the first question he does. So what rails can I put in to get out of this thing without losing everything? Shout out Kirk on the flip side of that, saying there's an opportunity here to filter out the bear market areas. SMA maybe, boost premium, fix up.
Yeah.
Those two things combined is how you make a good test. On the front end, how do I basically simulate doing the last 90 days? Meaning, how do I simulate doing this in an upward trend market, but being able to get more occurrences? That's filter A.
Yeah.
Filter B is Dan saying, and how do you get out of this without losing everything?
And isn't the quest, Troy, when you think about like a put credit spread, and that's where, like you mentioned, the SMA and stuff, it's saying we all get it. The last 3 years we've been in an up market. You had some down stuff in 22, but it's figuring in an up market, how do you, the easy thing is just throw a put credit spread thing on, let it go. But you can still tweak it. Like we talk all the time is, okay, you've had 8 up days in a row. If you're not, and you say, well, let's wait for a down day to do a put credit spread. But I think with SMAs and different things, you can do it. Let me just do one quick, we can do confession here, right? If we want to do a little bit of a confessional thing here.
It's a safe space.
Troy just mentioned that Rob, said, sometimes he'll just take a test, right? And throw it out. Confession. When, I have no problem. And I've done some of the OO tests that come on there. I look at it as, I'll look at the test and make sure there's some rails on it.
Some sanity to it.
And it's some sanity to it. And I'll throw it on because it gets you in, it's like the movie with John Wayne and the lady said, my son can't swim. And John Wayne picked up the kid and whipped it in the lake, right? And part of it is, let's get the thing going. Because for me, I'm still learning to get better at the back testing, at the tool. It's like, let's get this thing on. Let's get it going. You're engaged. It's trading. And then you can work with it. Then, like Matt said, then you can work with it. I want to tweak this. I want to tweak this. But you're in the arena, right? You're in the arena with the Lions, and you can work with it. Now, you want to have some discretion about what you use. And I've tweaked a few things and paused a few of the things, especially the 0-day credit spread stuff, just because I want to, be a little more engaged, because those can go against you pretty quick. I want to make sure you have good rails on those and stuff like that. But if your intent is take something that looks good on the OO show, but the goal is to make it your own, right? 100%. If you want to start there, as Matt and Troy has, start there and 100%. Make it your own. Because that's all I've ever tried to do on any kind of spread over the last 20 years is you work with a community, whether it be a credit spread, butterfly, whatever strategy you think about, whatever duration, you give somebody a little bit of a template, but your whole goal is get them to start swimming, but make it your own, right?
I heard the bell, by the way. Yeah. The bell is off.
Ding, 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 ding.
On that, spot on, Dan. On that note, as our British friends would say, crack on.
Crack on.
And there is lithium in these hills. So if you want to take that test and improve on it, and we will be back tomorrow. So you guys have a good day. We'll talk to you soon.